Have you ever wished if it could be possible for you to actually read a concept and never to forget them again? Do you wish that you can also be like the genius students that when they take their books and they read all through the semester, all through the session, and even from all through the levels, they don't get to forget the things that they have read? Now, if you are in university, for example, and in 100 level, the concept that you have been taught, the courses that you have passed through, and every other academic activities, maybe you are in 300 level, in 200 level, and you have even forgotten all those concepts, well, then this video is for you. Or maybe you are still in secondary school, and the things you have been taught in time past, you cannot even remember them again. Maybe you are preparing for your WAEC, or maybe for your JAM, but the things that you have been taught in SS1, SS2, and even SS3, now that you are trying to prepare for your exams, you could not remember them again. Well, in this video, I am going to teach you how you can remember things forever. Therefore, in this video, I'll be giving you 3 strong pillars that is actually going to help you to actually read without forgetting the concept again. Why? Because education is supposed to be a mental thing, and it is supposed to stay with you even till death. So the reason why I call them pillars is because even these 3 pillars also have some things you have to do under them. And I want you to pay attention to every details and every intrinsic aspect of this video. Pillar 1 is what I call the active recall skill. Now, what do we mean by active recall? When we say something is active, it means it is alive. It means it is functioning. Now, when we say active recall, what we mean by recall is that you should call it again. For example, if I say recall the person, what I'm saying is that call the person again. Now, in this context, when we are talking about active recall, we are talking about you actually wanting to recall the things that you have learned. Now, when you take a book and you read, what we are talking about is you need to recall it again. You need to bring it back again. You need to exercise the memory aspect that is actually responsible for you to learn again. Remember, I've been saying it that human being is formulated with 3 different domains: the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor. If you don't know what these 3 things mean, I made a video about it in the last video, and I'm going to put a link under this video for you to actually check and watch it. Now, what am I talking about in active recall? You need to have strategies of actually going over again on the things you have read. The reason why this is necessary for you to learn and not forget that concept again is because your brain can easily get familiarized with concepts, and you will feel like you have actually known it, meanwhile you have not known it. Now, people that refuse to do active recall, that's why we call something cramming. Why? Because their brain have been trained to only recognize that idea, but they don't actually know it. That's why those information can only be retained for a few moments, and the moment the information elapses or leaves their brain, that is just the end to that particular information. Now, how can you do the active recall? Number 1 is the closed book strategy. What does this mean? When you read a book, when you take a textbook and you read, you need to close that textbook. The moment you read that concept, close the textbook and ask yourself, what have I read? Say it again. You can even force yourself to ensure that you write the summary of what you just read. That's why it is very necessary that when you are reading, you are also with a book beside you. Why is this necessary? The moment you read, close the book and summarize what you just read. This really help you. And the moment you discover that when you are summarizing, there are some aspects of it that you forget, which I call the gaps, we are going to discuss about what you can actually do about these gaps later on in this video. Number 2 is the question answer method. The question answer method. The moment you read a book and you want to be sure that you are going to remember forever, all you need to do is to ask yourself questions and ensure that you answer them. And as a matter of fact, you can even go online, search for questions as regard the concept that you just read, and try to provide answers to them. This will actually help you to know that you have actually learned. Now, in some textbooks that you will buy, you will discover that at the end of each chapters, at the end of each lessons, there are some questions there. Ensure you don't skip those questions. Answer them. If you cannot provide answer to each of the questions perfectly well, then definitely there is again a gap in that aspect of learning that you have not yet grasped, which is very important for you to actually learn. Number 3 is the physical flashcard loop. Physical flashcard loop. Now, what we mean by a flashcard is some piece of paper, just like a square or a triangle piece of paper. It is very necessary and important for students. Why? Because it helps you to actually put something on that book. You can write something there, things that you easily want to remember, things that you don't want to forget, things that you want to understand. You can begin to write them on that flashcard, and then at the back of the flashcard you can write the answer. For example, when I was learning the vowel chart and the consonant chart, for example, in university in my 100 level days, and that table is a whole lot for me to take in easily. So there are some codes I have to write on that book, on that flashcard, which I call FANLA. and Papaveji. Fanla and Papaveji. This is the code I use for the place of articulation and the manner of articulation. Now, the way I wrote that code like that, at the back of the flashcard, I wrote what each of this means, which means bilabia, plosive, glotta, bilabia, plosive, and all those things. I've written it down, and also the approximant, the stop, the lateral, the nasal, everything. I've written it at the back of the book, of the flashcard, for it to easily remind me and to make me understand that, okay, this is what it means. So anytime I'm going to class, or anytime I'm playing, or anytime I just feel like, oh, I need something to do, I'll just put my hand inside my bag or inside my pocket. I'll bring out the flashcard. I will look at the shortcodes, and if I can recall them, then I definitely know that I've known it. And the moment I discover that I can't, I'll just turn to the back of the flashcard and check, okay, this is it. And before you know it, in just about 48 hours, I am able to take all the table in. How do I know that I know it? Therefore, through the recall strategy, through the recall method. Remember, that is pillar 1. Now let us talk about the pillar 2. The pillar 2 is what I call the Feynman technique. The Feynman technique. The Feynman technique is also known as the teaching technique. Now, what is this technique actually passing out to us? It is telling us that for you to actually know that you are aware or you know a concept perfectly, then you need to be able to teach it. If you cannot teach it to a 5-year-old, then you don't know it. Now, also for this Feynman technique, there are different things I want you to do that will actually help you so much. Number 1 is that you need to choose a specific target topic. You can't just want to read a whole textbook at a time and want to know them. It is not possible. You are not a machine. Why am I saying that? Remember the other time when I was giving an example, I said I want to learn a table. It's just a table. And it took me about 48 hours for me to actually get acquainted to it, which I call the consonant cluster table, right? The place of articulation and the manner of articulation, for me to know all the consonant sounds and where they belong to and their description. It took me about 48 hours. That's just a concept of even the topic itself. So don't say you want to learn a whole textbook or you want to grasp what is in a whole textbook. You will not learn like that. Just choose a specific topic. Be focused on a specific topic. Learn it, and the moment you show you know that, then you can move on. Step 2 is that you need to explain that concept or that topic to a 5-year-old child, which means that you need to explain it in the best simplified way as possible for you as you can. Which has to mean that when you gather 100 people and you explain to them, at least 99 of these children must be able to understand what you are trying to explain. You must be able to break it down in simple, complex. This will actually help you to ensure that you are not cramming the words of the textbook, but that you actually understand, and now you are speaking with the words of your own mind. The step 3 is to isolate and identify your gaps. Isolate and identify your gaps. Now, why is this necessary? When you are teaching this and then you discover that there's a concept you don't remember, or you discover that you just went blank about a particular aspect, put it down, identify it, isolate it. That is an area for you to focus on more. It is a pointer for you to know that you have not actually studied that particular aspect very well. And now it is very, very necessary for you to actually study it, to actually know it, to actually focus more on it. Now, what do I mean by gaps? These are areas of blankness. Alright, areas that you discover that I don't remember this again. Oh, what was there? What is in the book? What did they say about this? Those are what I call gaps, which in other words also mean blankness. Things you cannot put your mind to again. And step number 4 is that you need to review, you need to refine, and you need to simplify the concept. Why is it necessary for you to review? Even after doing all these things, you teach it and you're sure that you know it, review it again. Know it again. The table I talked about the other time, the consonant chart table, for example, I read it again in 200 level, I went over it again in 300 level, the same in 400 level. I review it, and I also ensure that I simplify it. It is very, very necessary for you. Why? Because if you've read a concept for a long time, it is possible that there are lapses in some certain aspects, and also ensure that you are updated about that particular topic and concept. Be updated about it. Don't go on bragging about what you've learned before, but now you need to actually be up to date about what you're about to learn or what you're learning. And the last step, which is the step 5, is that you actually need to execute real world teaching. The real world teaching test. Why is this necessary? It is very, very okay. See, it is just very, very necessary for you. These are things I will actually ask you to do. It will help you in your performances, it will help you in your retention, and people will even begin to think you are a giveaway when you are not. You are also an average student, but because you know how to learn and how to retain information. For example, when I gained admission into the university from the very first semester, my 100 level first semester, anytime I read, I ensure that I start reading early. So anytime I read, I find people in my department that I know that they don't know it, and then I will explain to them. So I have been a tutor from the very first semester of my 100 level. They thought I am helping them, but they don't know I am using one stone to eventually kill two birds. I am helping you, yes, and I'm also helping myself, because anytime I'm taking them in these tutorials, there are some areas I will avoid. Why? Because I know I don't know about them very well, and I don't have enough understanding about it. So the moment I avoid it, do you know what I will go back to do? I will just asterisk it in my book, and then I will go back to my own hostel to read about it again. Can you use this strategy? So all these things are actually very, very important for you to do. And I can promise you that if you actually follow every single technique I have mentioned in this video and every single guidelines, and you follow them religiously, I can tell you for sure that you are going to remember concepts easily. You are going to remember ideas easily. Those things that you are reading that you are forgetting about, you are going to know them easily. Maybe you are an history student, for example, and you know that dates needs to be on your head, names needs to be on your head, names that you are not even familiar with, that are not in your culture, and every other thing like that. And maybe you are in medicine, you are in law, you have to read a lot of concepts, you have to know a lot of concepts, you just need to know them. You are an English student, a literature student, all these things, you need to retain information in your head. Follow everything that I have said in this video, and you are going to thank me. If this video has helped you in any way, please, I want you to drop a comment down this video, and please, I want you to support me by actually subscribing to this YouTube channel, like this video, and also share it out with other people. When you do these things, you are actually telling YouTube that the content I am releasing on this YouTube channel are helpful and educative enough for you. Thank you so much for watching. My name again is Ayorinde Samson Oluwatobiloba, and I am the instructor for Illuminated Minds YouTube channel. Ensure that you feed your brain cells before they strike. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.